Hey eBay, got something very interesting for you today. This is a TEAC model CD-P650. This is a CD player, but not only can it play CDs, it can play music off of a thumb drive connected to the USB port, or certain iPods. We'll get more into that later. Let's go ahead. Let's play some music off a disc. Oh, I have to turn it on first. Play some music off a disc, and we'll play some music off a USB. Oh, that's the USB automatically kicking in when I turned it on. We have a button to switch between the CD and the USB here. So we'll go to the CD as soon as it reads it here. And I don't have an iPod to demonstrate, but the USB port works correctly with this, so there's no reason that it wouldn't with the proper iPod. So, I guess real quickly, we'll go over the condition. This unit is in, I would say, good condition. It's at least okay. It does have those scratches on the top. One scratch right here on the front beside the screen as well. But really that's the only issue with the front, which would probably be the part that you'll see the most. Most of the scratches and scuffs and stuff are on the top and the sides and the back. There'll be photos of all those in the listing. Comes with the original manual, which for something as complex as this is a good thing to have. And it also comes with the original remote with a pair of working batteries already inside it. This has been fully tested to the best of my ability. All the buttons on the remote work. All the buttons on the front work. Obviously the CD drive and the USB slot work. The headphone jack works. Let's take a look at the back here in 1 second. Okay, so we have a standard RCA analog audio out. Obviously that works. That's what is connected to my test speakers here. We also have an optical digital out. That has also been tested and working. You have these two phono jacks labeled A and B that are for remote control by like a separate piece of equipment in your stereo chain. I don't have anything that those connect to, so I could not test that one little aspect, but on the off chance that you do have that, I mean, it looks good. I have no reason to believe it wouldn't work. So let's get into some of the technical aspects of this. Just for anyone who is wondering whether you're going to buy, or if you have one and you don't have the manual, there's some important things to know here. As far as the iPods, you need to have an iPod 5th gen, an iPod Classic, an iPod Nano 1st to 5th gen, or an iPod Touch 1st to 3rd gen. And it says you cannot use the following models in direct mode of the display mode or for the timer. Not entirely sure what that means, but I guess you're kind of limited if you have a 5th gen iPod or a 1st and 2nd gen Nano. So yeah, and it says if your iPod won't work, it may work with a software update. So I'm not sure if later ones would work with these or not. But you know that this list right here is the only ones that were guaranteed to work with it when it was sold. Also, as far as the files that it can play back, like ones that you put on a USB drive from another source, it's going to do WMA and MP3. The MP3s can only either be 44.1 kilohertz or 48 kilohertz, and they have to be 320 kbps or less, which is pretty much any MP3. The WMA files, though, they have to be 44.1 kilohertz and 192 kilobits per second or less. Also, it can only read up to 99 folders on a USB, and from a disk, it can only read a total of 999 files within those folders. You get a little bit more from a USB. You can do 1,999. And for the flash drives, they must be formatted as a FAT file system, FAT 12, 16, or 32. It does not support NTFS, HFS, or HFS Plus. So that's an important thing to know. Like thumb drives have gotten pretty big these days, so most of the ones that you buy gonna at least have the capability to be NTFS or exFAT if they're not. So you might have to format them as FAT32 to work on here. Now, as far as the files that it records onto the USB from the CD, which is the most unique feature, this is the only thing I've ever seen that could do that besides a computer. It will only do MP3s and let's see, it's one of these pages. Yeah. So you have some options. Now, another interesting thing is the only way to record is with the record button on the front. There is no record button on the remote. Unless there's a roundabout way to do it, I don't think you can record with the remote. You have to actually go up and press the button. So if you're on the CD, you have to stop the CD, and then you can either press the record button, which will automatically start recording at single speed in the bit rate, either the default bit rate or the last one that you chose, I believe. But if you hold the record button for 2 seconds, it will bring up a menu that you can use the forward and reverse song buttons to go through, and then the record button to push in your selection. The first thing that'll bring up is bit rate. You can choose between 64, 96, 128, and 192K MP3s. And then you press record, and you'll get on to the next option, which is recording speed. You can do 1x speed, which will play back the CD while it's recording it to the MP3. Or if you choose 2x, it will be silent. It won't play the song at 2x speed, as funny as that might have been. And then the next option is one song or the whole CD. And if you choose one song, you can go through and pick which song that is before you hit record a final time to start the recording. So yeah, pretty interesting piece of equipment. It's working very well, and it doesn't look half bad, I don't think. It includes the unit itself, the remote, and the manual. I'm not including any of the cords with this one, since you have a couple options on what you might want there. But that's about it. Thanks for looking, guys.